Today we're going to do some running intervals. Now I've already started warming up, as you can tell, literally around like 800 meters. I'm like, fucking hell, what am I doing? But if you hadn't known, the last 18 months I've had a foot injury and it's been a bit of a pain in the ass. But this is all part of the recovery. Do the small jogs, do the short intervals, and get back up to speed again. So we're doing that today. Yo. So I've just got home after doing the session, and I tell you what, your boy did like 8 runs and that was it. But the main thing was that he went out in there and did it, because these things are hard, getting back into it after you've been injured, especially when you've been in a situation for yourself probably where you kind of had a few setbacks along the way. And setbacks, I don't know, I just see them as part of the journey, you know, because, you know, things aren't always so straightforward as they seem, but the more you can kind of reframe things and just see it as part of the journey, and that's going to help build you up, the better you're going to be because of it. The more that we kind of sink down into this whole idea that things are up against me and things aren't happening for me, that's when we seem to struggle a lot with our mindset, with our resilience, with the ability to get better through certain things, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I always like to kind of look at things from a point where if something is happening to me, it's for good reason. It's either going to make me feel good or it's going to make me stronger. And so there's a whole bunch of rationale behind that, but let me make a protein shake. Now the reason I'm so for trying to make things seem so positive is because statistically, with the research and things like that, the more we can reframe things into a positive mindset and to create some belief in ourselves that we can do particular things, the more we're actually going to benefit from having setbacks and things like that. Because the more that we start thinking that, things are happening to us and not for us, the more we tend to find we think negatively about ourselves, we lose confidence in ourselves, we don't actually engage in being able to continue the same path just with more experience. We tend to get put off by certain things, and I feel like that's a massive problem. Because a lot of people talk about resilience, but I feel like sometimes the same people just really hate a setback. Like they really hate it. And of course it's normal to be frustrated when things happen like that, where you're doing really well with your training and then suddenly get injured, or you study really hard and then you can't pass your exam. Things like that happen. But the more you start thinking that I'm a failure and things like that, then that actually is going to inhibit you from being able to rationally work towards the actual goal in the future. Because if you keep thinking that you're a failure and that you're not good enough ever, then you'll probably give up. You probably won't do it. You might move into something else which is less fulfilling. You might also be caught up in the idea that you won't be good at anything you ever do. Because I feel like sometimes when we do certain things, it's good to have confidence, to get wins in some area to give you confidence in other areas. So for example, I really struggled with school, getting marks and things good marks, things like that. I found that really difficult as soon as it kind of got a bit more serious in high school. But if I was to kind of look back at it all, I find that having that time where I really had to try a lot harder than I was actually really helped me in many ways, because without having that time where I was failing a lot of my classes and not actually getting better, or not feeling like I was getting better, that actually set me up to think, okay, I need to think of some new strategies of how to actually learn to get better, because I really care about getting to university and doing better, things like that. Whereas when it came to more physical things like sport and stuff like that, I was a lot better at it. I'd spent more time practicing, I was naturally better at it, and therefore I got better results with that. up until a certain point as well. But all those setbacks and things I had along the way, I think were really important for my actual growth in the building a better version of me. And now I'm at the age of 30, you know, like I've moved on a bit, done some really cool things along the way. And I found that a lot of the setbacks actually really set me up for doing things better, thinking more broadly about how to do certain things. Ultimately, I think just creating a better life for me. If everything happened all straight away, I don't know if it would have had the same effect. So thoughts. I don't know, any of you out there, like how do you see a setback? What does it mean to you? And like what has been some of the biggest setbacks you've had in your life? Because I think if you go back and reflect on the things you've done and how you kind of got to where you are now, or the future that you're looking for, you know, as time goes on, but like, what do you think are the biggest setbacks that you've had in your life that have really pushed you towards to where you are now? Because I can guarantee if you really thought about it, you'd find something in there. Because sometimes it feels hopeless. Sometimes you're in the middle of it and you're like, nothing is going to get better. This is really, really tough. You know what? That happens. It's a human emotion to think that. It's a human thought. But if we zoom out, how would you perceive that moment in time now? How could you reframe that as a way for you to move forward? Because I know that like after 18 months of having this foot injury, after I was a runner and a triathlete and all these things like that, like that's half your identity gone, you know? So like what can you do for yourself right now to help move you in the right direction? That's what I'm asking you. Okay, that's all I've got time for today. Boosh!